going, because there are no planned drills, it means that it could be an emergency, in which case there are green signs on the doors indicating the best exits to go to, but you will be helped if that unlikely event occurs. This particular committee meeting is being webcast, i.e. it's available on the internet both currently and in future. People can actually watch it at their leisure. And that means that at any time somebody might be on camera and their talks, if they talk, could also be picked up by the microphone, so just beware. But because this is being recorded, it means that any other recording devices are unnecessary. There's been no request for this meeting to be conducted in Welsh or any part of it, so we will be dealing with it in English only, which is a relief for me because I don't speak Welsh. We have some latecomers. These are the traditional latecomers to this particular meeting. They came on the bus, I suspect. Yes, so we're blaming the buses for that. My name is Brian Morby. I'm chair of the Planning Committee. On my left is Richard Lewis, who's the head of development management for the council. On his left is Paul Wielden, who's head of transportation. At the dais over there is Norman Jones, who's the principal planning officer. Also on the left is Geraint Rhys-Thomas, who's doing the broadcasting. On my right is Rachel Beale, who's clerk to the Planning Committee, and on her right is Tim James, who's the legal advisor to the Planning Committee. And my colleagues in front, in the main part of the chamber, are members of the Planning Committee. I think that's probably it. Have we had apologies, please, Rich?
Yeah, thank you. We have from Councillors Alan Faeser and Phil Seaborn.
Thank you. And declarations of interest. Sorry, Stuart.
Apologies for Councillor Ron Burnett, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, declarations of interest.
Yes, thank you, Chair. A couple of declarations I'm aware of. Items 6 and 7 on the agenda. Both those planning applications. Councillor Davis, I understand you wish to declare a personal but non-prejudicial interest as a member of the Community Council who were consulted. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. And then, in relation to application 8 on the agenda, Councillors Parish, Taylor and Tomlinson, I believe all three of you wish to declare a personal non-prejudicial interest, again as members of the Pontypool Community Council who were consulted on that application. Would that be correct, please?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Thank you, members. Just to remind you that to make a note of those declarations in the appropriate part of the register passing round. Any other questions from members, please? Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Item 3 then is minutes of the Planning Committee held on the 17th of January. Run through it for accuracy. Whoops. Page. What's it called? It's called page 3. First page is called page 3. Then page 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Are you all happy that they are a true record of the meeting last time? Yes, please. Okay, thank you. Then let's move on to item 4. Which is the All Wales Annual Performance Report, 2015-16. I know that all members will have read that with interest. and some degree of pleasure, I would have thought, given that it's a pretty good report as far as this particular planning authority is concerned. Richard, anything you want to say?
Just to say that in terms of the Welsh average, we try to be at least above the Welsh average in every category, and we've managed that in all but one circumstance. But I've explained that one circumstance for members. So generally, yeah, we've done pretty well last year. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, any comments or questions? Councillor Evans.
Thank you, Chair. It's just a comment, really, to congratulate our officers in the planning department for getting us where we are today. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, Stuart. Anyone else? Are you happy to note the report with those comments, I think, also recorded from Councillor Evans on your behalf? Thank you. Okay, item 5. Which is a long way down, scrolling through my iPad, which is proposed amendment to Appendix 9 of the Constitution, scheme of delegation for planning decisions. Members may remember that at the last committee we had a lot of items which we had to consider, which, frankly, was a bit of embarrassment, really, because they were minor items which didn't need a committee to actually deal with. And the scheme of delegation is intended to allow more efficient use of delegated powers so that we don't have to have some of those items having to come to committee. Of course, any item which you as members feel ought to come to committee, even if it isn't originally scheduled or is part of the scheme of delegation, all you do have to do is ask for it to come to committee, and it will come to committee. Anyway, that's from me. Richard?
I think just to clarify, currently the Planning Committee delegates Duncan, the Chief Planning Officer, to make delegated decisions. Because of Duncan's wider role, and he is now submitting applications on behalf of the Council, he can no longer make those determinations. He delegates me to make those determinations anyway, currently. So this is really asking for the Planning Committee to direct those delegated powers directly to myself. Thank you, Chair. And I'll answer any members got any questions on that. I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions? Councillor Ashley.
All I say was I actually read this report as I don't think I need to declare as a member of the Constitutional Working Party. I did actually read this report as a matter of interest. Did ask Richard some questions earlier by phone, and I answered every question. I'd like to move it, if I may, please.
Is that seconded? All in favour? Good, that's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to item 6, which is coming before us only, having talked about the scheme of delegation, only because the applicant is related to a member of staff of the planning department. Otherwise, this would be dealt with under delegated powers. So, Norman?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this application relates to a mature oak in the front garden of this, I suppose it's an end of link property in Croesaceiliog, and that's the mature oak then. Our arboriculturist has looked at the tree, and the tree is healthy, and whilst there is some crack into the driveway, we don't think that's justification to remove that tree, and we're recommending refusal.
Okay, any questions or comments? No, I would have thought, Councillor Ashley, you'd be applauding the proposal to refuse an application to fell a tree.
Well, looking at it, it looks a fine tree.
Oh, well, there we are. Anybody else wish to speak on it? Councillor Powell.
asking, can it be cut back or anything? It's quite a massive tree.
It is a big tree. However, there's no justification has been put forward by the applicant for any works. It has been the subject of works in the past, but this is an application to remove it, and we don't think the reasons are there. As I said, our tree officer thinks it's a healthy specimen.
So just to come back, so they could apply to cut it back if they wanted to.
They could apply, but yeah.
Councillor Evans.
Thank you, Chair. Obviously, trees are a very emotive subject to some people and contentious with others. But unfortunately, we have a policy in place, and that policy is to protect healthy trees. So I would propose that this recommendation to be refused is acceptable to me.
And I would second that.
Okay. Does anybody want to discuss the matter? With your seconding as well. There's two of you seconding.
Well, what I was going to say, Chairman, it's difficult with a TPO on it, and with the tree officer's report, it's very difficult for us to go against that. You know, there isn't a reason, is there? So it's really difficult. So.
No, I think that's probably a fair summation. Are you ready to vote on this one? It's been moved and seconded that the recommendation to refuse the application be approved. All those in favour, please show. That's also unanimous. Right, thank you. Next one is item 7 to deal with this is an alteration, extension and cladding to existing dwelling to provide additional first floor living accommodation linked to existing pool house and construction of a detached double garage at the rear in Bringome across Caerleon. Norman?
Thank you, Chair. This application was the subject of a site visit back in January. The notes are attached to in the agenda. And it concerns a detached property on a very narrow cul-de-sac just off Chapel Lane. And there is the proposed footprint of the building. It currently has got a detached swimming pool to the rear. The proposal includes creating a link there into the pool room, demolishing an existing single-storey plant and changing room to the side, which will allow access to the rear to create, which would allow the building of a double garage. In the report, you'll see that there is mention of trees being taken down to facilitate the development or as a forerunner. It should be noted that those weren't the subject of any protection orders. That is in the report. In terms of also residents have raised issue with regard to construction traffic. Our highways officer hasn't got any concern. There will be some improvement in terms of the ability to park within the site by that the creation of that parking space to the rear. It is currently quite tight on the front of the site. At the moment, it's a two-storey building, house, with a sloping roof, which has a dormer to the front. And this is what the proposal is showing. The creation of effectively a three-storey dwelling in, if you like, a flat roof form in, I suppose, a box-like structure. If I go back up to the site layout plan, you will see that the building sits forward of to the front of this particular plot, and you'll note from this picture, which is a photo montage created by the agent, the narrowness of the street scene, and that's another photo looking looking at the street scene. So, whereas in the majority of cases the dwellings are set back, particularly on the upper side of the road, what you will have is a dwelling only 3.5 metres off the carriageway, and that carriageway doesn't have any footways. So you've got a street of just over 4.8 metres wide carriageway without any footways of normal size. If I find the correct... this shows it in profile. The ridge height of the dwelling will be increased by 1.2 metres. However, in creating the structure, it will increase on the front elevation by 6 metres. Now, in terms of the proximity to the road, that is what we consider to be the main concern. It will over-dominant feature within this very narrow street scene. In terms of the actual proposal, the applicant has submitted an innovative scheme, and you'll see from the planning policy issues which have been raised in the report and mentioned. It's not the planning authority's role to stop innovation, and whilst it doesn't follow the pattern of development or the design of the development in the area, we wouldn't object to introducing innovative design per se into a street scene such as this. So it's very much focused in relation to the position of that particular dwelling within the street. As I've mentioned, we've had significant objections from residents raising issues in relation to privacy, issues about the trees felling that's occurred, construction traffic, but also the increase in the vertical footprint, and the massing of the front elevation on the street scene. They complaining that people have mentioned that it's a box-like structure, and you lose the openness that exists along the street scene. If I go to the photograph, you'll see that the sloping roof slopes back with just the dormer being visible there, and that's the view from the opposite the property opposite the road. And you can see most of the front elevation at first floor level is served by Velux roofs, although there is one dormer there. I think there's an appreciation that this building needs upgrading. However, we don't consider that the upgrading is sympathetic to the context of the street scene. I would mention that 4 residents had indicated that they wished to speak, but having seen the report, they withdrew. The applicants had, we had notified the applicants that to expect speakers here, and they had asked a planning consultant to speak on their behalf. They have produced a letter of correspondence. However, I think I've mentioned most of the things which have in that letter which has been received. So in conclusion, whilst we don't object to the particular design per se, it is in relation to the context of over-dominating the street scene that we are recommending refusal. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, and a number of us were on the site visit which had a look at the context, as Norman has put it. Any comments or questions, please? Ashley.
Yeah, if I'm getting it right, what's proposed is to take away the slope of the roof and put volume in it. What's the actual drop height from that of the actual walls, as opposed to what's the current sloping roof? Because I didn't go on the visit, but I can see what you're on about there.
Yeah, I haven't taken a measurement, but from the eaves level, there'll be an increase in height of that front elevation of 6 metres. So above the road, from the roadway, there is a driveway which drops down a little bit. So currently the eaves level doesn't appear to be a full story height. So we're probably looking from road level 2.5 stories.
So you're looking at something around the region of 30 foot of a sheer wall? 20 foot?
Yes,
20, 30
yeah.
Foot, yeah.
Close to the road. So it's that proximity to the front of the plot, really.
Yeah, it's not solely wall, but it is much closer to the road for the full elevation than the current arrangement. Councillor Waite.
Yes, Chair. I'm looking at it, and when I think there's a 6-metre extension above people's houses, would that be some sort of violation of people being able to look down into people's houses?
We were concerned about privacy. There has been some negotiation in coming to this stage, and we did receive objections in relation to privacy, as you'll see from the report. However, it was felt that that could be overcome by deletion of a balcony at first floor level. There is already a window to the front of the property there. You can just see it there. And it was felt, given the angles in relation to other windows, that I think the balcony should have been be deleted. That was deleted by amended, with obscure glazing being put around the top story. So that would be, if members were minded to approve it, then we would look to have obscure glazing in that top story, and that was the form of the amendment.
Anyone else wish to ask a question or comment? Nope. Are you ready to come to a conclusion? Do I have a motion? Councillor Williams, yes, please.
Chair, I'd like to move the officer's recommendations of refusal.
Okay, thank you. Is that seconded? Several people, including Councillor Waite. Are you ready to vote? Or yeah? Okay, so the recommendation to refuse is being moved and seconded. All those in favour, please show. And that too is unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Then item 8, which is works to trees due to health and safety issues on the river abutment walls or on the path leading from the Palk Centre and the Italian Gardens. And Norman already has it up on the plan up on the wall. And a sort of photo.
It's a Google image, Chair, of the area. If I go back, you see the hatched area is the area where the works are proposed along the riverside, and there is a pathway through that area. So the works are being presented to improve the health of the trees and the passage through that area.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Councillor Ashley.
I was going to say that this looks like necessary works to me. it's an art of a borough works, I believe the expression is. So I'd like to propose it. Simple as that.
Okay,
I remember a conversation a long time ago about necessary works, trees need maintaining, and I said there was I moved the recommendation.
I'll second that, Bright.
Yeah. Again, we've got competition for who's going to second it, but Councillor Ashley and a combination of Councillor Waite and Councillor Constance have seconded that. Anyone wish to talk about it? No? Good. Are you all ready to vote? Wait for it. All those in favour, please show. And that too is unanimous. Thank you very much. The next meeting of the committee is, I've forgotten already, 14th of March. Hope to see you there. So that concludes the meeting. Thank you very much.